How's that coffee?
Good. Tastes good.
It's sugar-free.
Sugar-free vanilla latte. SFVL.
You could only make it lighter by going to non-fat milk.
Is skinny? What is
That'd
it now?
be a skinny.
Oh,
Skinny.
so would they add one more S to it somewhere?
Probably an SK.
Sugar-free, skinny vanilla latte.
SKV. SFSKV. You know.
All right, my man, here we go.
Oh.
Calling out to all area group, we gon' make this shit happen right here, right now. Calling out to all area group, we gon' make this shit happen right
And welcome back to the Endurance Hour podcast 2015 alongside Roger Thompson. I'm Dave Erickson. Surprise. Where have we been for the last couple of months?
We haven't really been anywhere.
We've been at home and we've been busy, and it was a week or so ago that a friend of ours, Craig, texted me. I'm going to bring that text up right now.
Oh, okay.
Even though we're recording this for video, this is all going to be the audio podcast. And where's it at? Here it is. He goes, dude, these cold temperatures will bring in some long trainer rides. Need some new Endurance Hour podcast to help pass the time. And I told him, not going to happen.
Not gonna happen. Suck it up.
I say, it was a good run, but I think we've produced our last show. Sorry, big man. He says, that's too bad. Always enjoyed the broadcasts. And ironically, you either texted me or called me like a couple days after.
Right.
And I was thinking, did Craig talk to Roger? Did he say, plant the seed? Like, where you guys been? Did he call you?
Did he?
Did he?
Oh, no.
Okay. So I thought it was, well, maybe there's a reason. Maybe the gods are talking to us. The endurance gods are saying, you guys need to get your asses in gear again.
Or guilt.
And get back on the show. And so I'm thinking, what's the plan here? And so we had a talk, and what was some of your thoughts?
Well, I think this is a dead time of the year. Not much is happening after Kona, and maybe even after Arizona or after Florida. It's pretty much shut down. Everything shuts down in the multi-sport world, and I'm a guy that kind of stays up on many podcasts and a lot of the media, and I even stop. I'm like, wow, I haven't gone to this website, or I haven't looked at this, or none of this is of really interest right now because it's kind of done percolating. So
This is a tough time of year.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I mean, how many emails do you get a day right now that has anything to do with triathlon or products, or maybe around the holidays you do? I mean, in terms of, whatever that's called, Freebase Monday or whatever it is.
Freebase. Yeah. The thing is that I didn't want to force content for the sake of putting out a new podcast.
Right.
That was my sticking point. It's like, I don't want to just, hey, we got to do this. It's another week. It's time to record something else. And what are we going to talk about? If there's nothing to talk about, I don't want to force people to chime in and go, oh, that was a waste of time.
Right.
Those guys were just filling time. So what's our plan now? We've kind of discussed this, and maybe we're still talking it out. What is our plan for 2015 with a podcast for our listeners? We still have, a global audience, and people are still downloading because I can see the stats. EnduranceHour.com is still there, even though we haven't posted for a while. People are still visiting. I can see that. So what are you thinking? And I know we'd love to hear from people, but not everyone.
We really don't care what you guys think because it's our time. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not.
I'm not, but I am. I'm not.
Yeah, there's some, and most listeners know that too because they're very busy people. If they're listening to this, chances are, they're on the move, they're doing something, they're multitasking as well. Their time is important. So I think that's what it boils down to is when we can field it, when we can put it together. And, and I think our goal when we came back last time was to try to get something out once every week or every other week. And I think, we'll get something, the goal is just get stuff out when we can and when it's, relevant and when things start getting hot, again, in terms of things happening and fun and we have material to put out that's, relevant to what's going on, but just to sit and, rehash stuff that's not really interesting to talk about or listen to. I mean, I think we're just finding it's not worth our time. So
yeah,
regardless if it's cold out, Craig, and you want to ride on the trainer. But we get it, and I understand it too.
Yeah.
But I listen to podcasts too. It's like, wow, they are really hurting for material, and it's borderline painful to listen to, and it won't always be an hour. Maybe it'll be 20 minutes. Maybe it'll be an hour and a half. Maybe it just, there's no one holding us accountable for anything other than ourselves. So, but we like being out there.
Yeah. I changed our profile picture on Facebook, and within the first 24 hours, dozens of people liked it, which surprised me. And I told you, like, oh my gosh, I changed the profile picture, and look at all these interactions, because people still are aware. We got over 2,000 likes on Facebook.
Right.
And somehow it showed up in their feed going, hey, these guys have a new picture.
Yeah.
But I didn't say anything about a podcast.
Right.
In fact, I think I'm not going to advertise this at all, except on Facebook. Where else would I advertise it?
I don't know. Well, I think also though, you post that and then it populates into somebody's feed.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think I said before, you might be friends with, say, 1,000 people on Facebook, which really means nothing. But let's say you have 1,000 friends. If you have somebody that hasn't posted anything for 2 years, you don't go, gosh, I wonder what's going on. I haven't heard from. You don't. You respond to people that are generating content, and so you posted a picture, and so people go, oh, cool,
Sure.
But they're not, and then they might go, I wonder if I'm going to go visit. I wonder if they put out a new podcast. That should have come up in my feed. But anyway, not talking about our, that no one cares or anything like that. But anyway, just to let you know, we still want to get stuff out. We still want to talk about things. And
so let's make a commitment here.
No commitments.
No, listen, we've done 126 episodes. This is 127.
Okay, we're going to make it to 1,000 this year. Let's just keep it easy.
Let's do one a month. Can we commit to that? I know we'll do more. We'll do more, but let's say
we should be able to do one a month. That's reasonable.
It is reasonable. I just feel bad for people who look forward to the consistency of a weekly podcast. I know I look forward to certain podcasts I listen to, like, oh, it's Tuesday. Has he posted it yet? Has he uploaded it yet? I like that. For us, I'm not going to say we're doing it every week. I'm glad you guys listen to us, and we'll keep on doing this. And like you said, if it's relevant, we'll talk about it. If something's going on, we'll talk about it. And if you have some suggestions, speak up. If not, we're going to create this.
Well, and I think if we get something that's good, maybe we get an interview, all of a sudden we run into somebody or someone calls and we end up talking with something that's really cool and powerful for that time. We're not going to put it in the can and wait till the end of the month to.
We're not breaking news here, are we?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, but we're we want to.
Although if we did have something someone else before anyone else did, no one's going to know, really.
Right, exactly. In the triathlon world, no one cares.
Yeah. So we do have some topics we can talk about. It's been a couple of months. We're starting a fresh new year. And I have a question for you, then you give me a question.
Okay.
So what has life been like living gluten-free?
Oh, interesting.
Because I know for you and your family, this is the elephant in the room for you guys, in a way. Although I guess you do acknowledge it. But this has really shaped what you guys do on a regular basis, isn't it?
Well, I think it shapes more of what my wife does, especially Jessie. She obviously she has a few more, allergies than just we cut out gluten. And again, I always kind of laugh when things populate. People cutting out gluten. Is it just a fad? Is it this? It shows that it doesn't. And it's just like, I don't. I think that's the hard part whenever you say, or whether you're vegan or gluten-free or you don't eat this or don't eat that or don't eat meat, people immediately go, oh, one of those. And it's just like, I think the hard part is it's easier not to say it, but because people immediately, a lot of times, not everybody, I know that, but kind of turn into like, oh, you're better than me, or oh, you're judging me because I do eat gluten. It's just like, it has nothing to do with that. It's just like, this is what I choose not to do. I know that it tastes great. I know that a piece of cake is amazing. I know that a sandwich tastes wonderful. I know what a donut tastes like. I know, a bagel with cream cheese. And, I know all that. So when someone eats it, I don't go, oh, you're totally messing up your life. It's just a choice I'm making. It's no different than a choice a person makes for religion or a type of car they drive or whatever. It's, it's their choice. I'm not, I think when I try to, which I don't do, try to shove it down someone else's throat or judge people that they don't do that, that's when I think you have problems. But what is it like for our life? I think gluten-free is pretty easy nowadays. It seems like most restaurants, most places you go either have it on their menu or they have options. So I've enjoyed it. I mean, in a nutshell, when someone would ask me, what has it done for you? What have you noticed? I've noticed my weight staying significantly more steady, and I find myself eating just a lot more frequently, but I eat a lot of real food. I mean, I pretty much, nuts and fruit and vegetables and just random, healthy stuff. I mean, real stuff, real food, that I eat as much as I want of it.
What do you call food that's not real food? So for people who
processed food, like processed? If you're just, grabbing a candy bar or grabbing, something that's basically in a bag with a UPC symbol.
If it can go bad, that means it's real food, right?
Yeah, I
think
real food in general is something that was, for me, when I say real food, I think of something that was once living. That the ingredient on whatever it is typically what it is. Jesse, we go to, they have Trader Joe's around, maybe a Whole Foods is what people are familiar with. I love going there because it's just like, I love picking up stuff, and it's like you look at the ingredient list and it's just like, I love dates, and we have these coconut almond dates that Jesse will buy sometimes, and basically you look at it and you're like, well, what's in this thing? And you're looking all over the ingredients, you're flipping it over, and it's like in this small corner, it's like ingredients, dates, coconut, almonds. It's like, and that's it. And that's what, and I think there's something powerful about that, it wasn't that long ago that when you went to the store and picked something up, you didn't look at the ingredients because what you were buying was what you were buying. You bought broccoli. You didn't need to look on it to see what was added to this broccoli. When you were buying, whatever you were getting, you didn't need to look and see what other ingredients were in it. It was like, it was what you were buying. And of course, the convenience world, and shelf life and manufacturing things cheaper and tasting better, obviously has taken away. So, but my wife, that probably is the bigger thing, is we've had to cut sugar, or she can't eat sugar, like refined sugar of any kind.
What does it do to her?
It's
isn't there a cycle? It just screws her stomach up for a couple days.
She and this will have probably anybody that has allergies. I think they're type A allergy or E, D. Anyway, she doesn't go into anaphylactic shock or anything like that, but literally in about the first, I think it's 2 hours, she'll look like she's about 6 months pregnant.
Just gets puffy in the face?
No, in her stomach. Oh. It just bloats out. And then it's about 36 hours of her being just uncomfortable, stomach, I would suspect, and diarrhea. And I mean, it's everything. And it's super uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable that there's nothing that she says, well, maybe this once, it's not, because it's yeast, so brewer's yeast, so that's in just about every type of alcohol, or sugar is in any type of alcohol, so any alcohol is out. And there's never a time that she goes, well, I'm just going to have one glass of wine tonight. It's nothing. It's just not worth it. It's so not worth it that she doesn't even gamble with it.
This sounds like a miserable life. When it comes to food, honestly, when someone says, I can't have these, can't have sugar, can't have bread, can't have certain things, it's like, well, we're so accustomed to getting a sandwich, getting a soda, even if it's diet, or certain kinds of other organic food. And all of a sudden, it's like, what can you have, and what is your lifestyle like to where I can't go out now as much, and I got to be real selective where I go, and now people around me also have to adjust to their schedule because now I got to go somewhere where it fits to their schedule. I'm just throwing it out there.
And it's a great question because it is something that we get to deal with all the time. We tend to go to restaurants that are nicer restaurants that prepare their food, which isn't a bad thing because you're going to restaurants that serve good food. But you're just craftier about what you order and what when she requests something. The hard part is when people don't understand. It's like, no, I can't have sugar. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, we don't put any sugar in this. Okay, in the sauces, you don't have any sugar in that sauce that goes on there. Oh yeah, I guess there is no. I guess I think
you're educating
I'm not
people
sure.
When you go out, aren't you?
Yeah, and it's one of those things. So when we can talk to the chef will sometimes come out, or the cook or whatever, and says, okay, now, because believe it or not, cooks and chefs and that really are that, not just prep cooks and heater people. I shouldn't say heater people, but people are just using ovens to reheat food. that are actually preparing the food, they really know what they're doing. They'll come out and say, no, in this, we use this, but I can substitute. They know what to do. It's really their trade, and they're very talented at it. But just to narrow it, just to go back to what she can't have is, and there's a couple others, but to keep it simple, it's gluten, sugar, and eggs. So, which is pretty much everything. I mean, in everything that is known to the American diet. So it is one of those things that when we go out, she has some go-to food that she knows to eat, or we'll go to places where she knows she can eat. But it's not a gamble. We just don't. It's not worth it, especially when we travel. To be sick for 36 hours, not worth it.
Let's educate people here. What would be the symptoms if someone says, I've been having issues with my food and my diet. I can't quite get around it. Never quite right where I need to be. How would someone determine whether it's an egg product, or it's a sugar product, or it's a gluten product? Like Erica, a friend of ours, finally figured something out over time. But there were some tests that Jesse went through.
Yeah, but she went what's called a breath test, and it's a long test that you just sit and they just basically are checking to find things. You can do blood tests that are they give your body and see what, your skin reacts to certain things. But ultimately, that's what you go into a place that tests for allergies, and you find out kind of to what degree you're allergic to these different items and how severe it is.
So what symptoms would someone experience to maybe that?
Well, the bloating, the constant, well, if you have if you go into, a severe allergic reaction to something, you're going to know. I mean, that's severe. But otherwise, you're just finding it's like, a lot of people are lactose intolerant. They just don't think they are, but they are. And whenever they have ice cream, they know it. It's like, every time I eat ice cream, I get real gassy, or I get this. Well, it's because your body's isn't reacting, and right now it's managing it. You might, it's like, whenever I eat this, I get really, bloated, or I feel like I had food poisoning, or it's like, I'll eat the pizza, but I just feel like crap the next day. Probably because there's something in that your body doesn't like. Now, you would think that because your body's now used to getting, say you have a reaction to, let's say, gluten, okay, so you eat bread and it's like, I just don't feel great the next day. It's because your body's used to fighting that off and battling it. You have some systems in place that keep, or that are used to you giving it this stuff that your body doesn't want, and your body fights it off. Well, once you realize that you shouldn't be having that, you have it tested, and it's like, wow, so you cut it all out, and your body then, the kind of the
years of conditioning.
Yeah,
going,
and now they go, wow, we don't have to fight this off anymore. So your body settles down, and everything starts to create a nice, comfortable baseline, and then you maybe eat a piece of bread, Well, you would think it's like, I haven't had it forever, so it won't have that big of an impact. It actually has a bigger impact because your body is not ready. All its defense systems are down, and then your body just gets pummeled with it, and then you just feel horrible. Where you could eat a whole pizza before and just kind of feel sort of, not great the next day. Now you eat one piece of pizza and you're out for, a day and a half. So
in a way, it sounds like maybe there are thousands of people out there, could be millions of people out there, who are functioning at 70, 75% of their potential.
Oh, totally.
Or their overall health. Like,
I
get sick 3 times a year, guaranteed. Well, maybe you should have something tested.
Or a lot of people don't recognize that. It's like, whenever I eat that food, it's like, well, it's probably not, it's probably not that food. It's probably something in that food that you are having a reaction to.
But those 3 things that you're mentioning, they're across the board everywhere.
Yep.
So how would you know if it was that one night of pizza?
Well, a lot of times people can cut those things out, and that's what Jessie was doing. Is she was cutting out. It's like, well, let's cut out.
Narrow it down.
Dairy and gluten. Those are huge. Those are like the big hitters.
Yeah.
And so it's like, so we cut all that out, and nothing was changing. Eggs. We were still having eggs.
Because, this is a complicated formula.
Yeah. So you cut all that stuff out, and you're still getting sick, but you cut out 2 things, but it could be, she has 5 things. Well, you cut out 2, but you still got 3 until you cut them all out. So if you only are allergic to, say, or have a reaction to one thing, like maybe it's dairy or milk or something like that, it's no problem. Easy to do. You cut it out and you're like, wow, I just feel so much better. I'm glad I did that.
Why now? I mean, why are we in this stage of being aware of this now versus 15, 20 years ago? Why is this at our front of our mind these days?
Well, because I think so much of the food that we're getting isn't what it used to be, and I think wheat is a perfect example of that, how the grain has changed. I think a lot of things have morphed, and what we grew up inundating our body with, sugars and I mean, even Jessie, she had, well, you were in Hawaii, and that gal at the coffee stand, and Jessie said, I can't have any, is there sugar in that? And she says, well, no, there's no sugar in that, whatever it was she was getting a coffee, or getting something, and she ended up getting a Americano with cream, and she said, and the gal says, well, there's sugar in cream, in milk. And Jessie's like, no, there's no added sugar in milk. There's sugar. It's like there's sugar in fruit too. Those are natural sugars, but there's no sugar in milk. Yes, there. And this gal went on to say, it's like, well, I don't really feel that bad for you because we shouldn't eat that much sugar. And it's just like, shut up. I understand what you're trying to say, but it's just like, but she says that too, and I said, it's like, wow, cut out eggs, which is a tough one because there are good parts to eggs. Cut out eggs. You cut out sugar. You cut out gluten. Those aren't bad items to take off your plate. It doesn't make going out to eat easy and going over to someone's house for dinner easy. But in terms of if you could program your diet to say, I'm only going to eat these foods, I guarantee you a majority of people would say, if I could program myself and get rid of my impulse and convenience, food items, and I just had all this other food readily available, this is what I would want it to look like, It's just like if you say, if you could orchestrate your day, I would get up at this time, I'd do a stretching routine, I'd get my cardio in, I'd shower, I'd eat this, nice little thing. But we can't program it. We're impulsive, we're another handful of M&Ms, they're still there.
I think my wife Melissa told me this months and months ago, and I forget why she was aware of this, but we may only eat 12 to 20 items in our diet. The variety of foods. We only, of all the foods we eat, there's probably only about less than 24 that we eat.
And how we combine them and mix them together.
Yeah, we're not as varied as maybe we should be.
Right.
I thought it was interesting. Like, well, what do I eat on a regular basis? I know I'm always eating bananas. I know I'm always going to have some chicken here and there, or I'm always going to have oatmeal. Okay, there's 3 or 4. What else am I eating?
Right.
It's like wow.
And I think guys are far more routine too. It's like you could get up in the morning and have the same thing, and some variant of your dinner changing with lean meats or whatever,
or going out. By the way, we're here at a coffee shop. This is a cool coffee shop.
Yeah, pretty cool. I hear they're selling it actually.
Called the Union.
Is it the service station?
Oh, the service
station.
Union service. No, the service station. What do you mean they're selling this?
I think they're selling it.
Getting rid of the coffee part of it?
No, just getting rid of the whole thing. It's actually a church on the other side. But it's here in Spokane.
Like tearing it down, get rid of it?
No, I think they're just selling it. I think they're done.
Oh, this is cool. This is my first time here.
Yeah, it's a very big, very
open area.
Very, comfy.
Well, I guess that's a lot to. You got to sell a lot of coffees and a lot of pastries to run this place. Shoot, I'm gonna start coming here more often. These people be closed down. This is nice. All right.
So what was that question you asked? Gluten,
what's it been like living gluten-free?
Big picture, short answer.
You and short answers don't go together.
Benefit. It's just I think it's a good thing, and I can't sell anyone on it. People have to make choices like that on their own. And
financially, is there what's the change?
Well, that goes probably to more of Jessie's diet than mine.
Yeah.
But her diet is my diet. Because she does a majority of the prep for that or cooking. Yes, it's far more expensive. You're buying real food. That's what we buy all the time, and it's sad when you see, you have a cart that's half full of food and it costs say $150, and someone, in front of you has a cart that's piled over using, and again, nothing wrong with government assistance or anything, but they're using, food stamps, for lack of a better word, and their total comes to like $100. And I mean, even food stamp. I mean, it's just like because processed food, crappy food, filling food, comfort food is cheap.
Well, especially if things are made with corn or you have a lot of sugar products involved. Yeah, it's easy to fill those.
Look at the two things. You look at like a McDonald's. You go to McDonald's, and I think this is very interesting. And I was talking to my class about this. It's like when you go home and have dinner, whether you sit down with your family or whatever, you sit down, maybe you're going to have, I don't know, whatever, pizza. You sit down and have pizza's probably not a good example. You sit down and you're going to have dinner, whatever people have, lasagna, same thing.
Okay.
So they sit down and have a lasagna, and I said, sitting there, and you reach out to grab what you're drinking. What do you drink typically? And kids, what do they have? I mean, at dinner at their house,
milk, probably.
Milk. I grew up on milk.
Milk, yeah.
Some say I just drink water. Okay, what else do you have? And it's like, sometimes I have tea. My mom has
at
tea.
dinner.
Yeah, tea,
okay.
And I'm like, okay, tea. So we have tea, which is rare, milk, and water. Yet whenever we go out to eat, to any place, we go to pizza, we go to McDonald's, you go to Red Robin, you go anywhere to where you sit down and are served, and they ask you, the first thing they ask you, what would you like to drink? And what do a majority of people order?
A soda.
A soda.
Or iced tea with lemon. Here are our specials today.
Or beer.
Would you like
or
a
alcohol.
margarita?
But I mean, a majority of people, even at McDonald's, when you say, here's a certain meal, not like a bunch of people, which we know there are a bunch of people that eat at McDonald's, but if you go to McDonald's and you get a value meal or whatever, how many people get a milk? How many people get a water or a juice? I mean, everyone's like, I'll get a Sprite, or if you order a Sprite, you are considered healthy. You're making a good choice with Sprite.
It's clear.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that amazing that we associate going out to dinner with drinking pop?
This is what you were talking to your class about?
Yeah, it's just like, but how often at home when you eat dinner, do you have pop at dinner? I mean, kids would just go, just cracking open a can of Coke, sitting down at dinner, how many kids have a can? And none of them did. And it's like, no, we'd never have that. Yet when you go out, you do. Mm-hmm. Why is it okay? Why is that? Why? Because we're conditioned to do that. And it's great because it's sugar. It hits you hard. You got caffeine. It's lifting you up. You're eating this giant, it's like compare, a Coke to fruit juice. Let's just, and fruit juice, I know is a great, it's not a great example. But even take, cold pressed, how's that? Take that, and then take a McDonald's hamburger or any hamburger from a fast food joint, or a salad with chicken. Again, salad with chicken. It's just like, it's too expensive to eat well. We've created, it's too easy to eat cheap.
Well, recently McDonald's dropped the Big Mac, and I don't know what else
did they?
Yeah, they dropped
Really?
the Big Mac and something else, and I don't remember the reason why exactly. Besides, they're trimming down or thinning out their menu.
Oh,
and I think these might be some of their loss leaders. I don't know, especially the Big Mac.
That's an icon,
right? So I don't know why, but it has to be a financial decision. Restaurants, businesses don't make decisions out of the goodwill of being
right,
for the greater good of their people. No, they do it because of the bottom line.
Right.
So they had to have dropped that. I wish I know what else they dropped. Maybe apple pies.
Right.
But I guess if the outcry, I don't know. I'm sure it was bad publicity on the supersize, the whole supersize phenomenon. But they're making so much money on soda.
Oh.
The profit margin on soda and fries, for that matter. And then you see that if you buy. I like not going to fast food restaurants with Melissa. I was telling her the other day, I can't remember the last time I went to McDonald's. I don't even miss it. Partly because I haven't had a car for a while. But you see the burger or whatever, the individual sandwich, they call it a sandwich burger, could be $2.99. But the whole meal is $3.50.
Right.
So
you naturally go to, why wouldn't you?
50 cents for those two things?
It's too cheap.
Right.
It's too cheap. I mean, you can get a full meal, a big meal that you're, already salivating for before you even get to McDonald's for $4.
It's sad.
Eat a filling meal that's healthy for $4. It's a
pile of vegetables will still be expensive.
We have a great restaurant, not a restaurant, it's kind of a juice / whatever down at, you went there, I took you there at Method.
Yes.
Here in Spokane, and they have, it's a phenomenal place. But
filling.
But it's, your average menu item on there that they make fresh is $6, $7. But you are eating whole, real goodness for $7. Mm-hmm. But again, what could you buy at McDonald's or any fast food place? I mean, the dollar menu is huge. I mean, Taco Time, all these places, they have the 4 items for $5. I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, in terms of just filling up kids that are in your car or people or the best bang for your buck. I mean, yet all this food is considered one of the worst things to eat. Top ramen, one of the worst foods you could possibly eat. Yet, what do college kids survive on?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I kind of got on a rant on that.
I remember seeing during the holidays there was a commercial where a father comes in, surprises his son at the table with a bow around a 10-pack of Chicken McNuggets, or it was a 20-pack of Chicken McNuggets for $5.
Right.
And that was a selling point. I'm thinking, that's so sad. That's a sad commercial. That he was excited. The kid was excited about this, and that's what the father thought would be a good idea. I'm gonna give my kid 20 Chicken McNuggets. It was only $5. Look how happy he is.
Right.
Do you realize what you're doing? You don't. I don't know. Not that I'm perfect about it, because I'll still cheat from time to time, and I'm a sugar fanatic.
Right.
But when it comes to certain things, like, I know better. I know that's going to make me feel sick, and I know how crappy it is for me.
Here's the thing with Jessie with cutting out sugar, and she'll be the first one to tell you, is that it was really hard. I mean, she was even in tears sometimes about cutting it out. But once she reached a certain point, and she could probably even tell you exactly when, but she doesn't have a desire for sugar. She doesn't miss it. She knows what, again, like M&Ms taste like. She knows, all this stuff, but she's not drawn. She doesn't crave it like probably you and I do, because she just hasn't had it, and her body is used to not having it now. But again, it's a lot of self-control and to truly cut out sugar. I'm not just talking about, I'm not going to eat candy. I'm talking about you cutting out sugar out of everything, because really your body gets shots of sugar in just about everything you eat of refined, sugar of some type. I'm not talking about sugar in fruits and sugar that comes naturally in products. I'm talking about, again, refined crap sugar. But now it's not even and I'm that way a lot with wheat and anything, breads and cakes and donuts and stuff. I can see it now and go, yeah, I know that tastes good. I know it has a good taste, but I'm not like shaking about it. And because before, in the first couple months, I'm just like, I just have to smell it and just like, is it worth it? And now it's just, nah.
Well, even a couple nights ago at a New Year's Eve party, they had cupcakes there, and they had this good thick size of frosting on the top. And I was telling a couple of girls there, it's like, back in the day when I was a kid, I would definitely eat all of that, and I would look forward to that frosting. Now, I slide that frosting off.
Really?
That is way too much frosting.
That is a lot of frosting.
That is just some thick, sugary, just gross.
Yeah.
And then I can't even finish the whole cupcake. Because it's just like, that's enough.
It's just heavy. Those are thick. And the gluten-free ones are a little different, but those other ones, I remember having those. They're like
2 bites of that would be fine.
Tanks. Yeah. These we're talking about the what is it? The designer designer cupcakes, which exist. So anyway, food. This is a great time. You've started the new year, and I think people are making some good choices right now. And I think probably the one thing to remember about New Year's resolutions when it comes to food or exercise or diet or anything, it's just like if you want to go 100 days without something, or you want to make it the whole year, and you make it 4 days and then you eat some cookies, it's like the year's not over.
Right.
Just reset it, get going. It's okay. I mean, we're all human. It's not the end of the world. You're not a failure.
Okay, Coach Thompson.
I'm just saying, it's one of those things. He's just like, it's good for you, but just, again, set the bar again. That doesn't mean just constantly relapse, but it's just like, each day you get further into your commitment, the easier it will be to not.
Plus, it's nice to get that streak going.
Oh, yeah.
If you think, like, I don't want to break, I'm so far now.
I'm 4 days. I'm 5 days.
Yeah.
I'm 15 days.
And I don't want to start over.
The people that do the 100-day challenge, of working out for 100 days, 30 minutes or more, yeah, sure, when you're at 12.
Too.
Yeah, 12, 13 days, 14. But once they hit, 37,
You can't turn back now.
52. Oh, it's not like I don't know. They're doing it. So
Well, and,
anyway,
a lot of people on social media, whether it's on Instagram now, which seems to be more popular than anything else, is showing where they are,
right,
and how far along they've
right.
come. And then if you break that streak, you're kind of embarrassed, or like you may not be on there for a while.
Hope no one calls me out on that one.
Yeah. Here's the thing I was going to ask you,
Yep.
is that as a coach, and for people listening, if you are listening, is how do you train without sugar? How do you get on the bike and not have your power bar gels or your goo or your whatever?
Remember, that's Jesse that can't eat sugar.
Yeah, but
I still eat sugar.
Okay.
I mean, my product that I fuel with, whether it's gels or whatever, you can't be in an Ironman and go, and decide to take a gel when you haven't had sugar for 2 years or whatever, or you have a reaction to it. You're going to be sick. You think you have.
So she's a special case when it comes to sugar, but I guess gluten. How many things are we eating that are gluten in our endurance training nutrition?
Some, not all. I mean, a lot of the waffles that are out there now, the Honey Stinger waffles, Power Bar has their waffles.
Which are tasty.
Are cookies.
Oh, my goodness. I eat those as snacks. In Kona, I got some samples from Power Bar.
I got you some samples.
You got me some samples? No. I picked myself a couple samples,
I know,
too.
but I brought them back and gave them to you. I'm like, I can't eat these.
I had those for half a day. Those sustained me for half a day. They were so good.
I probably have a couple boxes for you then.
Oh my goodness!
Coming my way.
Okay,
but anyway,
so
I primarily when I race and train, I'm using a liquid diet anyway, which is primarily gels or a form of that or. Okay. So I mean, it's pretty easy. But I try to, when I go on long rides, especially that aren't really high intensity, I try to bring real food with me. I try to bring, plums. Matter of fact, in the summer, I'll go on rides that there's this amazing plum tree. I wouldn't run and eat plums, but on a ride, I'll stop by this plum tree and just fill my pockets full. Or if I see an apple tree, or if there's a nectarine tree, and I grab just because those are
Green
so
Bluff. Are you
great.
stealing from Green Bluff?
Nah, they're I call them stray trees.
Okay.
They're ones that are
They've left the
on
flock?
vacant lots and stuff, and apples around here are just about as easy to find as a pine tree. But the plum trees in September, and oh my gosh, they're just so good. But
So-
I love that.
You told me one time about apples, and I didn't know this about apples. Don't go on a bike ride and use an apple for...
Well, you could probably ride and eat an apple, but
Is it running?
It's running that will create some problems, and it's basically any fruit that is really fibrous.
Okay.
Because your body's trying to break it down, it's creating, and you end up, it's pretty tough on your stomach.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and this is all me asking you questions,
Right.
Coach. I've seen these athletes. Meredith is one of them, and I believe that Jesse Thomas is one of them. These are professional triathletes, Ironman athletes, who are using Red Bull in their training, or at least are taking pictures of themselves drinking Red Bull.
Yeah.
I know those are 8.4 ounce cans, but pros and cons with that you're aware of. And have you used energy drinks?
No,
Is it personal
and again,
preference?
I don't know if they're getting a little kickback for every photo with that. I mean, and again, that you'd have to ask them, but those things. I don't know. I mean, I mean, they offered it on
in Kona.
In Kona, and you're talking about a $2 can of pop or can of whatever it is.
Energy drink.
It's expensive stuff. And they're handing it out, cans of it. Whatever. And I think I look at it a lot of times of saying, when you're putting yourself under high stress like that, and your body is just reaching out and trying to metabolize everything, whatever you eat has to go somewhere. Like your body's taking it in. It knows what to do with the sugars. It knows what to do with the fats. It knows it's going to work its butt off to get the proteins. But then there's all those little chemicals and binding agents and red dye 7 and or whatever number it is. All this different things that are giving it taste and giving it texture and so forth. All that still has to be processed by your body. Your body has to look at that and go, it has to shuttle it somewhere. And if it just looks at it and says, I don't even know what it is, let's just, I guess, package it up and shove it out, And I think that's when I'm looking at like Ironman or even short course, any time that you're really stressing your body, for me, I want to run it as clean as possible.
Yeah.
And I know sugar is sugar, but I mean, that's the time that your body is using that the best, and getting it clean and getting it natural. I just think.
You don't think it's true what they're doing? You don't think it's really something they're incorporating into their training? It's just one more sponsor?
You would have to ask them. Let's put it this way. Can I just throw this? I'll throw this out about, and this is a plug as well for Jesse Thomas, because he
Picky Bars.
Picky Bars.
Oh my goodness,
phenomenal product.
I'll plug it too.
Picky Bars. Matter of fact, Steve Anderson, who is a friend of ours.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I got one in my pocket here. Picky Bars. They are basically all awesome. That they're pretty much all natural. They're actually, believe it or not, they're manufactured here in Spokane, which is kind of funny. But if you look at the ingredient list on it, they're solid. They're a great product. They're 200 calories. They're a smaller bar, so some people might think that it's not worth it. But if you look at how much they cost, how many calories you get, it's really very comparable to any other bar out there. But it's wholesome. It's really, and they're really good. Mm-hmm. So you have someone like Jesse Thomas, a professional triathlete, winning Wildflower 4 times. Yep. His wife, Lauren, who was a phenomenal 5K, 10K runner on the track. I mean, so you're talking about these phenomenal athletes, that they create this product because they wanted something that's real, wholesome, and good for post-race, maybe an in-between snack, probably not for race fuel. I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like a little heavier. Mm-hmm. Unless you're on a long endurance ride, you could probably get them but to all of a sudden say, and I'm going to back that up with some Red Bull, which is a complete 100% chemical with a few little squirts of something sort of natural in there.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time thinking that a guy that's building his reputation and his, I guess, financial, stability on a product that is all one thing, to all of a sudden say, and I also, fuel with saccharin. It doesn't make sense.
I don't fault
to
any
me.
of these guys, because you can look at any industry, any spokesperson, representative that has whatever on their chest. Look at the NASCAR guys.
Yeah, right.
Everything on their chest. Have they used every one of those? No, those guys are paying for this guy's livelihood and his crew. So there's a trade-off there.
Right, absolutely.
Unfortunately, though, I think in our world in sports and nutrition and fitness, I'm concerned when I see someone with a Red Bull or with a Rockstar, and then some of these companies are saying, oh, but it's got natural flavors, it's got vitamin B this, vitamin B that, it's a nutrient replacement drink. Well, I'm no scientist. What am I going to do? I guess I have to do my own homework.
I think I like to think that triathletes, though, we're a little quirky, but I think we educate ourselves. I mean,
but we also do things that work for us.
To a fault. Yeah, exactly.
If it works for me, I'm going to use it. If it doesn't, then I don't care. I'm not going to use it.
Right. And I think for the most part, I think triathlon, as you look at the products that are out there that are really going towards the real, healthy, natural direction, I think it's going to continue going that direction. I don't think it's going to go, healthy nutrition, natural is getting too much. Let's go back to the crap. You had, what was it, Little Debbie sponsor Louisville?
Was it Louisville?
One of them, Kentucky, maybe?
The newest one in Tennessee.
Okay.
Was it, or was it Louisville?
One of them, anyway. Okay. And there was a lot of discussion.
Chattanooga.
I think we even Chattanooga. And I remember we talked about it a little bit. It's like, oh, that's horrible. It's showing people eating, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, you know what?
Someone's paying the bills,
they're
right?
They're paying the bills. If you don't want it, don't eat it.
That's right.
It's not like they're forcing you to, all we're handing out is, Little Debbie's and the filling, in little packets.
Yeah.
Don't eat it. It's just like if Camel Cigarettes was sponsoring it and they were handing them out at aid stations, you probably wouldn't take a cigarette as well.
Bud Light was sponsoring Kona for the longest time, right? The banner was there at the finish line.
I don't think triathletes would have a problem with that.
But they're not handing out beer during the race.
Yeah, probably not.
You could though, right, with the carbohydrates and.
Yeah, I don't think they can. I don't think you can. I don't know. You can't take outside assistance, but. and again, I don't think any aid station has beer. As we heard from Ben Greenfield.
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
If you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to. Actually, it was just the last episode.
126. He talked about he was offered some herbal supplements. During the bike portion.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
So anyway, So I don't know. That's my opinion. But you'd have to ask Meredith. You'd have to ask Jesse. But it seems very conflicting to me. I don't judge them on that. I don't care. I mean, do what you want. Pay the bills. Drink it if it works for you. Doesn't matter to me. You guys are a hell of a lot faster than I am. But my guess is it's a bit more of a, I don't know, paycheck than promotion.
That's fine with
Could
me,
be
right?
wrong. I do it.
As long as you don't tout that it's the reason why you're fast.
Yeah, I think that's when you start to make claims.
If
that
you can
aren't
just have it
accurate.
in the background,
Right.
It's sitting
Product
right there.
placement,
You don't have to say anything.
Yep. Right.
Although it is understood. I mean, it's kind of like, I see what you're doing.
Well, and by the way, we don't get anything from Picky Bars. This is just us saying we've had them. They're really good.
Yeah. And
we really enjoyed them.
When Steve came home, was it Thanksgiving or was it Christmas?
Right, Thanksgiving. Well, it came both, but
we had a trail run, and then he had some of those after the fact, and it's like, oh, I know of these.
Right.
I think I may have had one before, but now that he's working for Picky Bar, he had big old supply. It's like, sure, I'll take
a little
couple.
sample
Thank you.
and getting them into more stores, because that's how we're going to get them in here is basically saying, hey, are you guys carrying these? REI right now is the only place so in this area, which is crazy.
It's weird to say. I always feel weird to say I'm proud of someone of my age group, or give or take. It's like I'm proud of Jesse and his wife for creating this product, because there's someone we know,
right?
And it's a business venture,
right?
And it's helping people. I don't know. I think it's really neat to see someone invent this and to see it grow.
Right.
I mean, they're growing out of their house,
right? And
now this is a national product. That's pretty cool.
And it's it's one of those things that if you don't normally eat bars, it's I don't know if it's going to change you to all of a sudden eat bars. But if you are already eating bars and you're buying bars, nutrition bars and things like that, and you want something that's so much better than what's generally out there, in your 7-Eleven, this is definitely an amazing alternative. They're delicious.
So this is not something like a bonk breaker or a power bar that you would use in the race. This is more
it's probably more similar to a bonk breaker bar. But remember, bonk breaker bars are very, very small. These are 200 calories. Bonk breaker.
I think the race day ones are 100 calories, right?
Yeah, I just for bonk breaker bars.
Yeah.
I can't eat heavy stuff in races like that. I mean, again, it's because I don't train with it, so I know that's why.
Good point.
These are nice, quick fuel. But if you look at the ingredients, they're amazing. They're a great product. Probably get in trouble for talking about it, right?
From who?
From Jesse. He's going to get mad that we're underselling it or something. So
gives him a chance to speak about it.
Right? Yeah. Let us know.
Good press is good. Any press is good press, right?
Right. If anyone's still listening at this point.
All right, your turn. Give me something.
Okay.
Or ask me something.
Okay. All right. Started creating a list. Doesn't follow. Let's talk about nutrition. So tell me about, you end the season. You kind of wrap it up a little, not early, but you kind of.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Towards the end, you had some ideas that you might have done. You were going to do the half, and you're like, you know what? I think I'm just done. It just seems like I'm reaching right now, and my heart's not in it, and so anyway. So when you take that tail off of the season, you went to Hawaii, you did some traveling and so forth. So now you're coming back. Mm-hmm. Have you dug yourself a hole that you're climbing out of? Are you pretty much where you always are this time of year? Are you changing things nutritionally, since we've been talking about nutrition? I mean, let's keep on nutrition, because workout's totally different.
Okay. Well, quietly I've been focusing on, and you know this, I've been focusing on my own weight. After we got back from Maui.
Right.
When was that?
November 16th.
Okay, so it was before Thanksgiving. I came back home and I weighed myself. And on the same scale that I've been weighing myself for a while, and I got to a high point that is like, are you freaking serious? Where'd this come from?
Right.
And it was disappointing and embarrassing. It's like, last time I weighed almost 200 pounds was when I was 27 years old, and I was trying to gain weight, and it was an effort back then. I was lifting, and I was also eating more, with the attempt back then, can I break 200 pounds?
Right.
And I did back then. And this end of this last year, this has something to do with training, but I was doing a lot of lifting. And I was lifting with my brother-in-law, and we were lifting heavy, and I felt like I was putting on some muscle, and I was getting bigger.
Right.
And my weight was going up. Well, after our vacation, my weight stayed up, but I wasn't lifting as much, but I was still lifting here and there. I don't know, I like to lift. I've always lifted all my life. But it's like, oh my gosh, I need to lose some of this weight if I want to be faster. If I want to achieve my goals,
right,
fitness goals, I need to lose weight. And where do I do that? Well, there is a message that I got. Gosh, I sent myself an email from a text that I got. I'm not going to find it. From you. And it was about, here are just some basic weight loss suggestions. And it wasn't so much train more, it was eating better calories or fewer calories. So I can train all I want, but if I'm still putting the same amount of calories in, it's kind of a tough battle. You can reinforce this. It's easier to eat fewer calories than it is to burn more calories. Something along those lines,
yeah,
right?
it takes a lot of energy to burn
calories.
Yeah,
But
you always see those charts. It's like, ooh, one Snickers bar is run 3 miles type thing. Yeah.
Yes. And so I've been doing the combination of eating less, and actually I saw this, maybe it was a Muscle and Fitness Magazine.com article of working out on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. You can burn more calories, or you kickstart your metabolism on an empty stomach, and then you have your meal. And so I started kind of, luckily we have a treadmill at the house, and now that it's really crappy weather, I can go in the morning, boom, hit the treadmill for a few miles, and burn something, and then eat. So I'm jump-starting my metabolism. I'm eating smaller meals, fewer meals. I'm still not doing it right because I'm skipping food. I'm skipping meals because I'm thinking I'm playing the calorie game, numbers game,
which is
fewer calories,
hard to do.
Burn more, work out like I have been, eat fewer calories, and the weight has been dropping, which I'm glad.
Right.
And I'm still focusing on eating more fruits and vegetables, and making sure I have the oatmeal in the morning. And I have a weight goal of 175. That's my weight goal of racing next year. If I can go less than that, that'd be good.
Right.
But I'm muscly. I've got
you're
more
heavy.
muscle.
I mean, you're stocky.
I got
anyway.
thicker muscle mass. And if I can get down to 175, I know if my training is the same as it was last year, but it'll be better, then my speed will go faster.
Right.
Because I'm pushing less weight. So fitness-wise or nutrition-wise, it's hopefully more liquids, more liquid meals. Like we've been doing some juicing. My wife and I, she bought this Blueprint something cleanse juices, and I've tried that a few times. And I actually had a really good run. I had 3 juices in a row, or every 3 hours or 2.5 hours is a juice you'd have. And seriously, it only had 100 calories or 200 calories. It depends on which one you have.
Right.
So I had 3 of those, and then I went for a run, and I had one of the best runs I've ever had.
Right.
And I had 2 gels on the run because I needed something. I think it was, I don't know how long the run was. Could have been 8 miles. It was like, holy cow, what just happened there? Was it not having a lot of food in my stomach? Was it just really healthy, good food in me? And then I was just good timing? I don't know what it was. So I'm not sure what the question was.
We were just talking about where have you been, nutritionally as you start to roll into this year.
Yeah. So the goal is to continue eating healthier.
Right.
And no pizzas. I haven't had a pizza for I can't remember how long.
Right.
I think we had some slices at the field house a while ago, but they're smaller. It's
yeah.
Like, I'm focusing like only so many slices.
Right. It's not see how much you can eat.
And adding more salads.
Right.
So I can get the weight down and increase the cardio. So I think I don't know if this is an unhealthy way of doing this, but I'm trying to lose my muscle. And one way that I know about losing muscle is by almost overdoing the cardio so I can break it down.
Right.
I know it's not a healthy way to do it, but it's what I'm trying to do.
Right.
Is over-exercise, don't give the muscles a chance to recover. Hopefully they'll break down and
you do less load is what you do.
Less what?
Less load on them. You do, a lot more essentially zone 1, 2 efforts. You're not grinding, powering up things that's developing mass. It's like going on long rides and just, riding in your, basically your fat burning stage rather than building mass. You're building long, lean. That's not us beeping.
No.
I hear beeping. But yeah, I mean, I think there's no silver bullet, unfortunately. I mean, bottom line, and people, if you want to know tricks, there's a great book out there called Fat Chance. It's a phenomenal book, and it focuses on, it focuses on sugar, and
Okay.
it just basically really nails it. And it's just like, God, that is so spot on. But it's like people are like, oh, I need to work out to lose weight. It's like, no, stop eating sugar. If you stop eating sugar, you'll lose weight. That's just brass tacks, bottom line. Juicing, and I know what you're talking about is different than what I'm going to mention, is be careful with juicing. Juicing is really popular, taking an apple and putting in a juicer, and taking an orange and put it in the juicer, and taking all these real fruits and great fruits and shoving them in juicers. The hard part with that is you're just getting the sugar from that, and not to say that's how come your run went well, because there's a lot of different types.
Mine was a
of
cleanse.
juicing.
It was a juice
it's
cleanse.
different.
Very different.
But since you said juicing, I don't want people to make it sound like that what you did was wrong.
Yeah.
But the fruit juicing is a bad idea, simply because you're just getting the sugar, the natural sugar, which is better than table sugar, but the natural sugar, which again isn't necessary. It's just spiking they're high on the glycemic index, so you're just all over the board. You're up and down and up and down. And actually, fruit, when you eat the whole fruit, like a peach or whatever, the fiber in it helps slow the absorption of the sugar. So even if you say, well, I like apples, but I put them in a blender and you puree them until they're all liquid, it's like, well, now you've just completely annihilated the structure of that fiber. You've turned it into a liquid anyway. So anyway, just one of those things. It's like, be careful. I mean, if you want a smoothie or a juice, or you want some type of juice so you can see the raw awesomeness, and then you dump out the filter which had all the fiber in it.
Yeah.
It's just like, eat an apple, eat a peach, eat an orange, eat a grapefruit. Don't just drink the sugar from it. So that's cut out the sugar, not the natural sugars, but cut out the sugar in your diet, and I guarantee you everybody will see a big turn. The other piece is watching your sodium intake. Pizza is a great example of that. When you eat pizza, you're going to retain water. It's like, I think you posted that picture of when you weighed 200 pounds, and then like a short time later, you had dropped like 10 pounds in like 2 days or something like that. A majority of that is water. You weighed high. It doesn't mean you didn't lose weight because of but typically 2 pounds a week is pretty aggressive. That's considered, sustainable. And I think that's really where people right now, this time of year, when they're after shakes and certain hardcore efforts to drop weight, is like, whatever you're choosing to do, make sure it's sustainable. Can you see yourself doing this in a month, 2 months, a year from now? Are you going to be doing this? It's like, heck no, I'm not going to be eating this, whatever it is, or only drinking this shake every meal for the next 5 years. Well, if it's not sustainable, you eventually will fail. You eventually will go back to what you've been doing. So cut the sugars. I love the idea of kickstarting your metabolism, eating.
Even on empty stomach?
I have a hard time training on a true empty stomach.
Is that for you, or is that...
No, it's really good. I would suggest putting something in your stomach, because I'm a fan of working out with something in your stomach. You're training yourself to be able to work out with something. So I normally eat a banana.
Okay.
Just something light. Nothing crazy. I'm not sitting down eating a meal, but just something like, I'll go for a swim in the morning. I'll eat a banana and go for my swim, whatever.
Yeah.
And then have a larger. Sorry, my wrist is buzzing. Just to get me going, and then I'll have a bigger breakfast. The other piece is eating leaner in the evening, of getting away from
That's right. That was
the
one of the
heavy
things you said.
loads, and not just eating leaner in the evening, not eating deep into the evening, like really trying to cut that off at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock, or having your dinner at 6 or 7, and maybe having a snack like a handful of nuts or some blueberries. And you can mix this stuff up any way you want, more fibrous than like sitting and eating ice cream and a plate of cookies, and because all that's going to do, I mean, you're loading yourself up with tons of calories, tons of not good fat, a lot of sugar, and then you go to bed and your body basically says, I've got all this.
Yeah.
What do I do with it? And it just stores it, and that's where you're not. But I guarantee you do what you said you're doing. Try to cut out the sugar, eat leaner, don't eat so much in the evening, get rid of the snacks, You do it for a week, I promise anybody you will see huge changes. But I also would caution people not to try to change the world in a week. Take one of those things. Say, you know what, I'm going to eat dinner, and I'm only going to have a healthy snack, again, natural berries, nuts, whatever, after dinner, and then I'm shutting it down. Drink water, drink seltzer water, drink flavored water, whatever, but don't, you're just, anything after 9 o'clock is, you're just...
Well, what's the other thing that you said was fewer carbs at night. I mean, if you're going to do something at night, do proteins for your final meal.
Lean proteins, your chickens, and that's what I said. Salads are phenomenal for...
last meal a day?
Like, salad with chicken or salmon or, fish. Sushi is great. But, unfortunately, our American diet, even Italian diet, is load up these skip breakfast and load up these huge, dinners, because, I've worked out hard. I've worked hard today. Now I'm going to load myself up. But it doesn't work that way. Mm-hmm. And you got to be careful with people that, you got to be careful. Just leave it at that. Got to be careful. But also people tend to have the misunderstanding that if I don't fuel my workout or I starve myself throughout the day, I work out and I'm not going to fuel myself, and then I'm not going to eat any, lunch after my workout. I'm going to drink coffee, and I'm not, I'm just going to starve myself all day. I'll lose weight. And that doesn't work either, because your body adapts to that. Yeah. So your metabolism crashes, which actually then hurts your workout. And you've heard me say this before. If there's ever a time you want a chocolate chip cookie or crap food like that, do it while you're working out, because your body's going to absorb and metabolize everything you eat. But you're not going to want to eat a chocolate chip cookie. You're not going to want the McDonald's fries as you're on a 5-mile run and you're going up a hill. Let me down this supersize, because that's not what your body's craving. Your body's craving something that's a little more lean and natural. Unless you're bonking, then it might. But so anyway, those are all just, fueling your post-workout, but fueling your workout as well. If you're someone that's saying, I need to cut my calories a little bit, cut your calories in your meals before and after. I shouldn't say after your workout, but in the meals surrounding the workout. Never cut the calories in your workout, because think of your workout. You need to fuel your workout. It's like having a car with when you drive your car, it needs to have fuel. When you work out, you need to fuel that workout.
Just think about a race, right?
Yeah, you can't. So people think though, I'm not going to eat anything while I work out. That way, I burn all these calories, and it's like, it's not a good thing to get into. So
how's your time?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
Yeah, we got a lot of. I didn't get into really a lot of it.
Okay. Well, one thing I know we're getting over now here, which is good, because we're getting back into it, and I know Craig wants to have a long podcast to listen to on his rides.
We could talk really slow,
or I can go back and edit this really slow, so our whole voice is slow.
Right.
Is race hopes this year, personally?
My what was that?
Race hopes.
What race hopes.
What goal? What races would you like to race this year, or you have already paid for?
Oh, okay, I gotcha. And I've said this, I don't know how many times this year, when people say, what are you looking forward to? I'm honestly looking forward to the 24-hour mountain bike race. Yeah. And I know as a triathlete that sounds silly, but I'm really looking forward to that. I just enjoy the whole going down there and camping and
the fun part
sharing
is the
that
first part is the first lap, and then afterwards we don't see each other very often.
Well, you didn't, because you slept the whole time.
Well, heck yeah, I slept. It was hard.
It was fun hanging out by the fire and chit-chatting, and sharing that obviously with Jesse as well.
It was cool that you guys you did a lap together.
Yeah.
You 2 laps or 1 lap together?
1 lap together. Okay. Yeah.
So that's one race on your calendar.
That's one I'm really excited about. And just like I did last year, I'd love to do Troika again.
Okay.
Which is a half Ironman.
May 30th.
Yeah, is it?
Yes.
Okay, a week later. But it just depends on how the 24-hour race goes, because it can beat you up pretty good, and if you have a tumble or something, it might not work out. But I really like that combination back to back. I was impressed with the load and intensity of the 24-hour race.
Yeah.
To turn around and be able to race a half iron to regroup and be able to have one of my best half irons I've ever done. So we'll see if it was a bit of a
fluke.
A fluke, yeah. Or if you can kind of repeat it. And I don't mean by winning it or anything like that. I'll just again look at my numbers and try to replicate my effort. But I don't know if I will. But so I'm excited about that. Before that, I don't know if there's a lot before that. We got so much going on with Emma's swimming and stuff like that. And just spending time having, going up to the mountain and skiing and stuff. So post that, then we're hitting, I guess June, we're hitting the main part of the year. I will say this, I have lodging reservations for Whistler. I haven't registered for Whistler, but I have lodging just because I know it gets expensive really quick up there. And they let you cancel like a week before or a day before even. So I have that, but I haven't really made any huge decisions yet. I mean, and I'm even cautious to say the 24-hour race. It just seems like, gosh, so many things can trump that in no time.
Sure. Do you want to, on your checklist, do you want to do a mountain bike race, an Xterra race, a half, a short course, a full distance? What would you like?
That's a great question. I don't have like I need to hit every distance. I really would, and you've heard me say this. I really would like to do an Xterra. They just don't fall at the right time, and I know you've done them, and it's just like it almost seems hard. We have, matter of fact, there's the winter triathlon down in near Boise this year, which really seemed like I'm like that sounds cool. Snowshoeing, fat bike or mountain bike, whatever, and then cross country skiing or skating, and I'm just like that sounds fun, but it's just like it's in February, and I know. I mean, you might think, oh wow, I'll get ready for that. It's like you won't be. You're not going to be ready for it. No one is, and it's just it would be a weekend plus away, and so it's hard. We have our Timex camp. Both Dave and I are back on the Timex team another year. We got our official invite back, thankfully. It's always a little bit of nail-biting time.
We got 3 members in the Spokane area. Third is Ben Greenfield.
Yeah, and then Brian Channing still on. He was in the area. He's in Bend, so he's still kind of sort of near. But and so we have our camp coming up, so you got to factor that one in of time and so forth. So I think as we get a little closer into April, May, I'll probably be able to get a better idea of what my early season training's been like and where that'll kind of project me into. So, but I don't know. I'd like to do another kind of endurance thing through in the summer, and I just don't know what yet.
Endurance thing.
Something long, something ridiculous, something. And then and when I say that, just something. I don't know. I like the idea of Leadville, the mountain bike version, but I don't want to do Leadville. I wouldn't mind. There's a bunch of things like that around here that I would enjoy doing, but I don't know. So nothing. I'm still carving things out. I know it's kind of weird. It's January. I should probably know right now.
No, you shouldn't.
Okay. Seems like everyone knows, and I'm like, well, you guys are ahead of me. I'm just floundering. How about you? I know you got some things on the...
Just a couple.
Things on the fence.
It might just be a maturity thing, but... or doing this for a long time, is that I'm not putting so much weight into this lifestyle that I have to do everything triathlon. Maybe last year was a good
that'll burn you out pretty quick.
Good reality check of like, what was my goal there? Is this proving to myself I could do a bunch of races back to back to back? It's like, well, I need to do this because I want to do it, not because I'm trying to checklist.
Right.
I'm trying to do.
Right.
I've done over 100 triathlons. I'm sure you have too.
I have no clue.
Over your life, you have though.
Well, I have no. I mean, sometimes I think I've done 1,000, and then when I start adding them up, it's like, well, how many have you done a year? What's the most you've done in a year?
Or what's the average per year?
Yeah, and now multiply that by how many years you've raced. It's like, I don't know. Maybe I haven't done as many as I thought. But anyway.
But I think maybe I don't know if I'm coming to the end of my life cycle in the overall enthusiasm of I need to do all these things because whether it's getting older, we're hoping to start a family at some point, and that is going to definitely be on the back burner. So how do I start looking ahead? And I feel like I have 2 races, 3 if you count the mountain bike race, 2 triathlons that I want to shoot for. If something else happens, great, but if not, I'm not looking at them.
Right.
I might have a couple sprints that I want to do for sure because they're local and they're an easy weekend race. But Troika, I did it in 2009. I saw some pictures. I did it in 2009 my last time. And I still remember that race and how terrible I was strategically in that race.
Right.
How hard I went in the bike, and which explains why
Your nutrition
I bonked.
sucked.
Oh my God.
What was I doing? I was
Who
eating
was
sunflower
I?
seeds.
What a waste of a race,
Right.
considering what I knew at the time. Like,
Right.
You didn't even do it. I mean, you shouldn't have even shown up.
Right.
You just wasted your day, wasted your money. It was a stupid experience for results. So I want to do that race, and I want to break 5 hours.
Right.
I'm saying it. I want to break 5 hours, and I am signed up for Arizona.
Ironman, Arizona.
Ironman, Arizona. So I'm doing that for sure, and I want to break 11 hours.
Down in Arizona.
Yep, I'm saying it right now. I want to break 11 hours, and I may or may not do it, but I don't care. That's my goal.
Troika is a fast course. It's definitely a fast course. But I mean, again, it's not that you can go slow on it. I mean, a sub 5 hours is a great challenge. A sub 11 is 11 sounds like 11's doable. But it's not 11. It's 10 something.
Yeah, and I think the thing is that it's not. And I've written this before on Instagram. It's not for you. It's for me.
Right.
That's kind of my motto
Right.
in these races this year. I'm not doing it for you. I'm not doing it for my family. I'm doing it for me.
Right.
And I want to see what I can do. And that day is about me trying to accomplish that
Right.
goal, not
And
race
what
other
did
people.
you race it? What was your last what was it? 13. What did you do there?
Arizona?
Yeah.
11 and a half.
11:30. Okay.
Yeah, right around there.
And that was with flats.
One flat, or two, but same period.
Yeah, right.
One small period. But I think I'm just too determined now. It really is like I'm out there to accomplish.
Well,
goal.
you had multiple races that year, 2 Ironmans in particular, that you were just getting faster and faster at. But you put together a race plan that you stuck to.
I didn't do anything by myself.
You stuck to it. You have to do that, and you can't. And Ironman's a long day. You can't get all wound up in the first 2 hours of the bike.
I know you might say this too, and I'm aware of this.
Right.
Of putting a time goal on something because the day.
Well,
can
you've done
happen.
it before.
True, but I know the danger of saying I want to break a certain time.
Right.
Because it's a long day.
Right.
But if I plan the training ahead of time.
Right.
And I do everything else, that sets me up to accomplish
Right.
that goal. Something else happens in the day, that's life.
Yep. They canceled the swim.
That's life.
Great.
Screw
You
it.
probably go sub 11.
But if all,
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think with weight loss goals and training goals and focusing on, for me, running and kind of doing the other things that I'm supposed to do, but running would be my biggest.
Right.
The gains I can probably make the most.
Right.
I even if it's a minute, I guess it's only 26 minutes, right?
Yeah, but it's not. It's more than that. You're just saying a minute a mile, but
Yeah.
it's like what happens though is when you're more efficient, it's more than that in a marathon. You might go on your training run, you might be running a minute a mile faster on average, but if you look at your average pace in Arizona before, you didn't start off running, say, a 9-minute mile, and then you
Right.
finished running a 9-minute mile.
Right.
You started off at an 8, and you finished with some
Which I didn't.
12s. You know what I mean? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's just like your running efficiency is huge, and I think you bring up a great thing is like when people right now, this is the time you work on your. Whether it's cycling, whether it's running, you work on your growth areas, your areas that you struggle at. This is the time of year that you put in that efficiency to become more efficient. You don't run harder, you don't ride harder, you don't swim harder. You just do it easier, but you do it more frequently right now, and get that. Become the runner. If you're not a good runner, become a runner.
I've
That's
got
what
11
you
months
do.
to become a runner.
Right, and I'm not saying crush yourself, but go out there and run. And I think Chris Thomas, a phenomenal runner, he does a lot of runs on treadmills that he does in zone 1 of his heart rate. And I mean, zone 1 is low
That's
for
low.
running.
Yeah.
And he says it's not about speed, it's about training your body to be efficient. If every time you went out and you blitzed it every time, you're not efficient. You're just creating your body, being willing to suffer. That's not efficient.
So if a person, me, anyone, was able to get on the treadmill, in this case, and we're able to go for a 2-hour run or 3-hour run on treadmill, which I know can suck ass, is go for that 3 hours, and you're able to do that, I don't know, 4 times a month. Are you positioning your body to condition it for something that's longer in the long run?
I don't think so. I don't. There's a lot of variables in there.
But if you go in zone 1 and you are in constant motion for 2.5 hours or so, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, you would have to build that up, though. I don't think if you don't come from a huge running background to be able to run, I don't care at what pace on the treadmill to stay in zone 1. I don't think you could. I think your body's going to naturally.
Because
get out of zone 1 pretty,
yeah.
after an hour and a half, you're going to, I can only walk and I'm in zone 1. That's what's going to happen because you're not efficient yet. So it's doing the, a half an hour, 40 minutes in zone 1. That would be a great morning workout. I mean, very low stress, but nice and easy.
Well, wouldn't doing 2-hour runs consistently slowly, your heart would adapt to that and start dropping down?
Not if you're running too hard.
Oh, really?
You have to develop your efficiency first. Maffetone, is it Phil Maffetone? He has his whole math, theory, and it's a lot of slow running, and it's about building that efficiency. And once you've built that efficiency at that low speed, then you start building on that, and then you can run at that lower heart rate, but a lot faster. But until you have the efficiency, you're just breaking yourself down. And this is like that. It's like a marathoner. It's like, I need to run a marathon. Oh, okay, so you need to run 26.2 miles, every day. It's like, well, no, you can't. Your body will be ruined. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what you do, right? No, but swimming, you take the total opposite. You could be you take swimmers that might be great 100-meter swimmers. They don't get in the pool and only swim 100 meters that day. So they don't go together. You can't compare those two. So again, getting efficiency. Look up Phil Maffetone. I think it's Phil. Oh, shoot, I might be messing up his first name, but it's Maffetone pacing or Maffetone heart rate. Or it's very interesting, and I think it has something. You can't live by it, but you can, in terms of developing your efficiency, I think it's very powerful. A lot of great runners have done that, especially your endurance runners. That are running the big, the 50-mile, 100-mile.
Yeah.
You got to be efficient before you can start building on your, your speed. A lot of slow running.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember one in particular, running coach, it always just said speed kills. And just meaning that running hard is where you get injured. Running difficult, just go out and run and enjoy it. Don't put yourself in the red zone. Don't run the same loops and try to beat your time every time. That's not what it's about. It's about, being efficient. Because think of Ironman. How hard are you really running in an Ironman? Yeah. So there's the question. If you're out running, trying to average 7-minute miles, but every Ironman you average 9, that's a totally different running form. Mm-hmm. Your stride length, everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, that was a good one.
Okay.
I don't know what we were talking about.
It just started off with
food. Oh, what
race.
You were doing for races.
Yeah. So
then you had some goals of time and.
Yeah. And I'm for my own confidence and psychological trickery, I'm going to accomplish those goals. I'm telling myself those are my goals.
Well, you're in control, and it's easy to say right now, but you're in control. Mm-hmm. I mean.
Well, it's up to me.
Yeah.
I mean, if it is to be, it's up to me. I like that phrase. So.
But it also means you're intentional.
Mm-hmm.
You can want everything and work but that's the thing with triathlon. It's about being smart about what you do. Mm-hmm. You can't be a cyclist, you can't be a swimmer, you can't be a runner. Mm-hmm. You have to be a triathlete, and it's a balance of juggling things. And this is a great time of year. Everyone's starting fresh, and especially for Arizona. Holy cow! Yeah. But you got Troika in there. You got a goal of 5 hours at Troika. That's
my best is 5:08 or 5:09 in Boulder. And that was elevation, maybe. It's hot, so
thin air though.
Maybe thin air.
Fast.
That's probably why I was fast on the bike. So in this case, I think what it is, and I've heard this with other type of, I don't know if it's leadership or success type of thinking, is that assume it's going to happen, and then put a plan into place to make it happen. So I have to believe it's going to happen, and then.
Well, why wouldn't it?
Exactly. I got to have the confidence. Well, this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
Now I just have to do the work. But it's going to happen.
But with the thing with times in Ironman is that you you don't wait till the last mile and go, okay, am I going to make it?
True.
And that you build it, and you can't even look at the swim and go, wow, I wanted to swim a 110 and I swam a 112. Well, screw it. I'm out. You don't cut it that close. But at the same time, you're going, okay, I know I'm capable of doing this.
If you've done the course before.
Bike,
yeah, if you've done the course.
Yeah, and on the bike, I should, it's not about a time, it's about what work I know I can do. And you ride with a power meter, so it's like I'm going to be looking at my power, I'm going to be looking at my heart rate, and I'm going to fuel because the bike and an Ironman should not be anything different than your long training rides. Mm-hmm. And that's where people make the big mistakes, is they go out and they ride the bike like it's an Olympic distance or a half iron. It's like, and you've heard me say that. We're out riding, it's like, so we're averaging this many watts. We're riding an 8-hour ride today. Yeah. What do you average in an Ironman? Well, not even close to this. And we're going to ride 8 hours. It's like, well, I probably should throttle back.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do. It should be easy. It's an easy ride. But you fuel it because you're getting ready for the run. And then so anyway, so that, going back to your race, is you set those parameters. You know what you're capable of doing, and you go and do it. You're not asking for a miracle. And then on your your run, then it's just holding the marbles together.
I think if someone were to say this, and I understand the reality of this, that's a big ask to cut off 30 minutes. I know it is, and I've been thinking about where are those 30 minutes from my last race.
Right.
And I know it'll be 2 years ago when I do it, but where am I going to find 30 minutes? I can maybe squeeze a couple minutes off my swim, probably.
Right.
Bike, ooh. I can get 10 minutes. I can get 10 minutes there.
Right.
Maybe 15, but 10 minutes is probably
right.
Reasonable. And then it's going to be the run.
Right.
It's got to be 15, 20 minutes on the run. It has to be. So where am I going to concentrate?
Right.
I got to concentrate in that run because I can't do much more on the bike without sacrificing the run.
Right. Right.
And then swim is what it is. Whether it's no excuses. It is what it is. If I can make it 112, 110, 115.
Well, you swim comfortably. You swim a 110. You swim, your brain's out, and you start using a lot of fuel. You swim a 113. It's just like, but at what cost was that?
Yep.
110.
Yeah. And there's also the weather conditions.
Did I say it backwards? I might have said that backwards.
And there's the weather conditions.
Yeah.
And it's the heat. It could be windy, whatever. It's like,
right.
I can't work with that. If that's what it is, then that's going to impact things, and that's a reality.
And there's where it starts.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel about our first podcast back?
We didn't really, we didn't cover any current stuff, but, and gosh, I had a little list of things to talk about, more focusing on the year as it was or wasn't, or what's been going on, or...
I kind of feel like we're doing this podcast for Craig.
I do too. Yeah, there's some other stuff. There's some cool things out there.
Well, then we'll just get together when we can again, and we'll pick up on some of those things and go on this journey. See what happens.
Dig it. Okay. We're all over it.
Yeah.
I don't even know how long. What were we at?
I started this late, so we're maybe
about
an hour and a half.
1:15. Oh, that late.
I started that late.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, nice.
Okay. I'll tell you what I really think
Service
off air.
station.
Thanks for the coffee.
You bet.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for
Sugar
episode.
Free,
I know, that's why I need sugar. I'm having a sugar withdrawal. Episode 127 of the Endurance Hour. We're going to post this on endurancehour.com. I don't think people are going to listen to the audio on the website, but that's where we host it. Otherwise, iTunes and Stitcher. Tell somebody about it if you want to. Otherwise, we'll just keep on doing this for us.
Yeah. We'll see until there's only one download, which is probably my mom.
I'll have to download it too. All right, guys. For Roger Thompson, I'm Dave Erickson. Happy New Year. Hope you have a great training session this week and next week. I don't know when we're getting back together, but you have enough material to go through your first ride. All right. Adios.
Don't let me hear you say life's taking you nowhere. Look at that sky, life's begun. Nights are warm and the days are young.